Tennessee Titans win the AFC South for the first time since 2008.
Let's go!
Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards, and wins the rushing title, and leads the NFL in touchdowns.
What else can you say?
Ryan Tannehill throws the bomb down the field to A.J. Brown. We thought they were just going to take it into overtime. Sets up Sammy Big Balls Slowman for the doink for the win.
Winning in the most Titans way possible.
What did we just watch?
If you look at the first half and even the start of the third quarter, you're like, oh, the Titans are fixing to just run away with this game.
Absolutely.
And then our defense goes back to being our defense.
Well, that wouldn't be very Titans if it just ended like that.
It really
because
wouldn't.
It became a game once we knew the Colts were going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it really did.
You know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
I don't know.
I'm pumped right now, and I'm glad it went down the way it did.
I kind of would have had it go down a little bit different way. I would have had it, okay, once Derrick Henry hit that 2,000 yards.
I like it. I'm sweating.
The Titans just run away with the game, and it doesn't even become this close of a game.
I like it.
But
it gets my blood pumping.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm at a loss for words.
Hey, I know where to start. The Titans, 11-5. They clinched the AFC South. They are hosting the Baltimore Ravens, first round of the playoffs.
Beating the Ravens for the third time in a year span?
I sure hope so.
Look,
I sure hope so.
I think we can do it. I got faith in them.
So let's, the first thing that needs to be addressed, of course, after talking about, their playoff situation, first thing about the game that needs to be addressed, Derrick Henry.
King 2K.
King 2K. I mean, we saw the tweet from, I believe, Preston.
Yeah, Preston.
And he was, DH2K or King 2K.
And here was my argument to you on it. We have CJ 2K. And, it's not like we had really gave him another nickname. Even before Derrick Henry hit 2,000 yards, I mean, he's the king.
Yeah.
So, and DH2K doesn't roll off the tongue
Not
as well
quite
as
like
CJ2K.
The King 2K it is.
King 2K.
But 34 carries, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, if he didn't have the fumble.
A personal best rushing day.
Oh, yeah. If he didn't have the fumble, who knows what would have happened. He might have took that play all the way.
I think he definitely would have took it for a good chunk.
And secured 2,000 right there.
Right.
But,
just on that fumble, you couldn't ask for Cunningham. He couldn't have asked for his hand to end up in any better of a spot on that spin.
That was absolute luck.
That was luck. There was no, he didn't know exactly where his hand was going. He didn't know he was going to hit on the ball. I mean, that was just luck.
So what if I told you that in an NFL game, your team has a rusher that carries it 34 times for 250 yards, scores 2 touchdowns, and you also have a wide receiver with 10 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown. And that's A.J. Brown.
Holy shit.
And that's A.J. Brown.
I didn't realize A.J. went for that many.
Obviously, that last catch helped him some.
But what if I told you that and said, we still only won by 3?
I would say whatever team you're talking about probably has a bad defense.
You wouldn't be wrong. But right quick, since you mentioned the defense, we'll get back to the offensive side. But 4 sacks?
Well, and they actually showed flashes in the first half of playing really. I mean, they played well at times. Now, second half is a different story, but
it was almost like they got more relaxed in the second half and just
right off the bat, 3 possessions for the Houston Texans, and they only scored 3 points.
Right.
I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that as far as a start.
Exactly. And, I mean, even going into halftime, all the possessions that they only had 9 points to show for it. So, I mean, you're looking at Tennessee as, hey, they got something going here. But then you have the Derrick Henry fumble. You have the Titans going for it near midfield on 4th down. And Tannehill taking a sack. So, there was just a couple moments in this game that it was like, oh no, this cannot happen right now. Like, no. But getting back to the offense right quick, Corey Davis missing out on his first 1,000-yard regular season. I mean, and here's the, I think Corey played an okay game. He come up with a big catch for us.
Yeah, for sure.
And, getting us the first down. But, he had problems with drops this game.
Well, if he wanted a 1,000-yard season, he could have had it.
Right. It was in his hands.
He had the targets. They were in his hands. Now, the one that was off towards the sideline that could have been a touchdown was obviously Tannehill didn't get his feet set. It was a bad throw. And then there was one more that went over his head. But other than that, I mean,
he had several chances
that he could have had.
And he was just, what it come down to, before he secured the catch, he was trying to make a play downfield. And, I mean, we haven't seen this problem from him really at all this season. Like, he's been pretty sure-handed. And this game, it just, he got a case of the drops. I mean.
Yeah. A.J. Brown had it earlier in the year.
He did.
Just hope he works through it before the next game because, I mean, Houston Texans went 4-12. By no means are they necessarily a good team. I mean, they have a good offense and, obviously they made it a game. But it's going to be a lot tougher against the Ravens. So there's going to be a few things defensively. Corey Davis has to fix his drops. The offensive line needs to get things, a little more straightened out. Obviously hope Roger Saffold's back. But there's things that have got to fall in line if they're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
There he is. But, look, we're reacting to
we got to celebrate this win.
I mean, my focus right now is this win and the fact that, you said it earlier, the Titans are AFC South champions and get to host a home playoff game. I mean,
you can't ask for more than that.
That just feels good to say. It really does.
Ask for more than that. Just looking and seeing, I don't even know how much that we're there that I can talk about the game. Just looking and seeing 11-5 beside Tennessee Titans it's crazy.
It is
because it's like 8-8, 9-7. That's just what you expect. And 11-5. It's been a good season. I mean. I just wanted to reflect on the season just for a second there. I mean, even though it still came down to the last game for whether or not they knew if they even had a playoff spot.
Right.
I mean, the last week 17, and they're 11-5.
And we knew before this game that they had locked up a playoff spot.
Right, but still didn't know about the AFC South.
Exactly. And, some people were saying, hey, since you know that you got it locked up, do you consider resting these guys? Like, no, 2008, last time we won the AFC South. You're in a position to win the AFC South and get that home playoff game. You got to go for it.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm still in awe of Derrick Henry's. I mean,
I know where you're going.
I think the Titans are the first team in NFL history to have two running backs. Two different running backs hit 2,000 yards in a season. Just let that sink in.
Yeah.
And think about, we have one guy who was a speed guy. I mean, breakaway speed, you give him a hole and he's gone. And then you have just this big behemoth of a guy. I don't even know.
We're watching a future Hall of Famer. And I think some people that are not Titans fans are still failing to realize that.
Oh, definitely. How can you not say that this guy's the best running back in the NFL?
Oh yeah, he is for sure.
There's no argument. Like he ended it.
Yeah.
Right here. And I think he's like the Triple Crown winner again this season. Carries, touchdowns, and yards.
Yep. He can take a workload. He can do it for the whole season, and he gives you results out of it all the way up until the end. It's not like he wears down. And we might see that later in his career. We might see him start to wear down because of the workload he's
There's literally only one thing left for him to do right now, and that is lead the Titans to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And win the MVP.
You talking about Super Bowl MVP?
Well, Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP. I think Aaron Rodgers has it locked up. But you at least got to mention his name.
You do, and I've made this point to you several times when we've talked about this. Like, you don't see a running back go for 2,000 yards every season.
No, you don't.
Derrick Henry, I seen this stat during the game. Henry's the first running back since Terrell Davis back in, I believe, 98 to rush for over, I think it was when he hit 1,900 yards. He's the first running back since then to have 1,900 yards and 15 or more touchdowns in a season. 1998. And you have quarterbacks right now who, yes.
It's 2021, guys. It's been a while.
I mean, these quarterbacks, yes, they're playing really good this year and everything. But you see how many quarterbacks have thrown for over 4,000 yards this year. And how many quarterbacks have thrown for, say 35 or more touchdown passes.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Well, I don't know off the top of my head either. I'm just saying we're used to seeing quarterbacks hit, numbers like that. We're not used to running backs running for over 2,000 yards.
Well, my thing about it is
17 touchdowns on the season.
I never know exactly what the deal is when talking about MVP. Are we talking about the guy that's most valuable to his team? If you take this player off, what happens to that team? Are we talking about just the best player in the NFL? Are we talking about the best player on the best team? It's such a vague award. Like, you never necessarily know what you're going for there. But what I will say is if you take Derrick Henry off the Titans, you're going to see a drastic drop.
Oh, yeah. I 100%
They would still probably be a decent team, but you would see a drastic drop.
I agree. There's no arguing there.
Yeah, there's absolutely no arguing that. They would be a completely different team. And I don't know, he's unlike anything that we've ever seen. He's so big for a running back, and yet he has speed to still break away. And we've said all these things before, but it's just seeing him reach 2,000 yards it just reaffirms that in your mind.
Well, this game also showed something else. Several plays in this game shows you how valuable he is to this team. You look at the read options that they ran
for sure.
in this game. There were so many times, as soon as you fake that ball to him, everyone swarms to him. Ryan Tannehill had 7 carries for 38 yards, most of which come from those read options. He averaged over 5 yards a carry and had 2 rushing touchdowns. He matched Derrick Henry's rushing touchdown total for the day. And then you have Henry, 34 carries, 250 yards, 7.4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns.
7.4 yards per carry. Oh, my God.
He had 3 runs in a row where he went 52 yards for the touchdown, followed up with, I think, a 16-yard run the next time he got the ball, followed up by a 28-yard run the next time he got the ball.
I don't know.
And it was those runs right there that made you think that the Titans are fixing to put this game away early in the second half.
So let's talk some more about that the last Texans drive. Because they didn't leave a whole lot of time left on the clock for the Titans.
They did not.
You literally had time for the one Ryan Tannehill bomb, which somehow, some way completed. And I'm not going to argue with it, but it's like...
Because he's got A.J. Brown down there to catch it.
breaks the rules of what should happen in the NFL. But I'm not going to question it, because I don't know. It's crazy. But the defense on the last drive, and I hate to bring down the video. I hate to bring down the mood. But let's talk about the defense on the last drive. The throw to Brandon Cooks, I believe it was Brandon Cooks, where he got behind Adoree Jackson.
It wasn't Cooks.
Maybe
it was
QT.
Yeah.
The throw to QT, when he got behind Adoree Jackson, was almost killed the Titans' chances to win the game.
I mean, it really did. I don't know. I can't remember for sure from the angle that we were seeing. There may have been another Titans player back there behind the Dory, like, maybe they, a safety deep or something that could have kept him from scoring. But still, just that play, you can't give up the big play. And at the time, that was the big play.
Yeah. I mean, there's no excuse for giving that play up. Yeah, that should have never happened. But
and look,
we almost knew when the Texans got the ball, there was a good chance they were probably going to go down and score.
Well, we knew that they were probably at least going to get in field goal range.
Right.
I mean, unless something happened and the Titans defense stepped back up and played like they did in the first half. But
now, Malcolm Butler almost had the pick.
He did. He was fighting for it, but we've seen this several times before where the benefit of the doubt is going to go to the receiver.
No, yeah, for sure.
I mean, just that's how it is. But I mean, just you would think that when the Titans did get the ball back, and they didn't come out to need the ball, that the Texans are going to say, "Okay, we need to drop everyone back. Don't let a big play happen downfield." Right. But hey, they didn't do that. A.J. Brown right down the middle. Just, we keep talking about this catch. But I mean, it was so
ridiculous.
huge.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that's the difference in going to overtime and potentially losing and winning the game on a Sammy Big Nuts field goal.
And,
he made two. He made two.
He did. Texans called the timeout.
He said, I'll do it again.
You're standing there and you're like, he drilled it.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh shit, he made it.
And then he comes out and he kicks it again, and we see it hit the field goal post.
Okay.
And before we get confirmation, our jaw drops and we're like,
so official ruling here. I just got a notification from the Titans app. Just popped up on my phone. We've been overruled. Okay. They said DH2K.
I'm gonna call him.
We've been overruled.
I'm gonna call him King 2K because that just sounds better to me.
So I just had to put that out there real quick. But Sammy Sloman. I mean, they call the timeout. He drills it, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But he's just, I'll do it again. I'll fucking go out there and do it again,
and I'll do it again.
I don't care.
But look, whenever it hit the post, I mean, all of us,
we didn't know.
Yeah, our jaw dropped, and we were like, no. And then when we got to confirmation, it was
because when he kicked that one, the first one he kicked, I was like, it's good. He drilled it. And then I realized they called a timeout. The second one he kicked, and I'm like, it's good. And then it hits the post. And nobody spoke. You could have heard a pin drop.
Exactly.
And then the refs, arms up, is ridiculous. I mean, erupted.
We went crazy.
But
I'm surprised we have a voice left.
Well, I'm struggling.
I heard that.
I'm struggling. But... I don't know, man. Sloman played a good game. I mean, he hit what he needed to hit.
He did. And friend of the show, Luke Jerkins, was so close on his bold prediction. Hey, he was texting us.
Go ahead and finish, but then I'm going to talk about mine.
I asked him, hey, what's your bold prediction for this game? And he said that it was going to come down to a game-winning field goal for Sam, but he said 40-plus yards.
Yeah, and he also said that he would miss an extra point early in the game.
But he was so close, and you were a hell of a lot closer on your bold prediction than I was mine.
16 yards away for Corey Davis, because I mean, I said that all three players were going to reach milestones.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. I said the two receivers would hit 1,000. Derrick Henry would hit 2,000, and I was so close. A.J. hit it. Derrick Henry hit it. And Corey Davis, who was the closest to hitting it, 16 yards off. So, still got a 1-0 lead on the bold prediction.
But we talked about that and how, he had it in his hands.
He could have had it.
Talking about those milestones, Derrick Henry took over Chris Johnson's lead. Yeah. Chris Johnson had 2,006 yards. Derrick Henry finished the regular season with 2,027 rush yards. Now, just something to think about, looking into the future a little bit. Next year's a 17-game season.
Okay? You got my attention.
Just saying.
You got my attention.
You know, what are the odds that, just...
But now, how much do you discount getting 2,000 yards now that you've added a game? I mean, how much do you discount what that actually means?
I mean, I don't think you can really discount it because...
But you can if they have an extra game.
He's the 8th player, I believe, in NFL history to hit 2,000 yards.
But it's obviously going to be easier with an extra game.
Not always.
What? If you have an extra game, it's going to be easier to do.
Okay,
That's absolutely for sure.
Say your team has playoffs locked up, number 1 seed locked up.
Okay, but that's a different scenario. I mean, if you play 17 games, you've got a better chance to hit 2,000 yards.
It gets a little bit easier, yes. But
it gets the whole game easier.
I still don't think it makes it just that much easier.
It gets easier. I promise. I
agree that it makes it easier. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Now, let's talk about the sacks. I mean, it looked like the Titans were bringing more blitzes in this game. Which we've been screaming for weeks that they've got to do. Now, not necessarily always on videos or whatever, but just between us two talking. And I mean, we may have mentioned it in videos, but we're like, why? I mean, why not bring blitzes more if you are having trouble getting pressure?
Landry, 1 sack. Desmond King, 1 sack. Crawford.
The corner blitz was beautiful.
Crawford, 1 sack. The sack he got was big.
For sure.
And then Brooks Reed with 1 sack.
Shout out to whoever on Twitter called him the great value Clay Matthews.
I think it was Sal.
That was great. But these guys just stepped up. I mean, without Derek Roberson, they get 4 sacks and probably they increased their total by like 30% of what they had before.
I mean, they now average over a sack a game,
which is still bad, but
yeah, I mean, by no means is that good, but they're up to I think 19.
Well, maybe they can carry that pressure over into the playoffs. I'm definitely hoping so. I mean, still a hard road ahead, and the AFC is it's really good this year. It's really, really good. But I'm losing my voice. I mean, final thoughts on this game. I'm struggling, to get my thoughts out over here. But
I mean, final thoughts is, even though it was a nail biter all the way up to the end, the Titans did what they needed to do.
Yeah,
they went in, won the game, had some guys be able to hit some milestones, which, great individual accomplishments, but either of those guys would have been fine with not hitting those milestones and just having a Titans win.
Right, for sure.
But Henry come in, running hard, and
Henry wasn't going to be stopped from 2,000 yards.
He wasn't. He was just...
I mean,
you could tell the runs that
Mike Vrabel's a big guy, but he's not big enough guy to stop Derrick Henry from reaching 2,000 yards. I think if he would have tried to yank him, there might have been an actual brawl.
I don't know.
There might have been an actual brawl.
Henry is a guy who he does what is best for the team. Like, if he knows that it's best for the team, and if he knows that it would have been best, like if the Titans would have got a big lead, and
okay, but if Henry is 3 yards away,
then Vrabel
and he's trying to yank
Vrabel
him,
would probably do what he done when they were in Jacksonville and Henry had a chance at 200 yards. He'd say, okay, we give him 1 chance. And if he doesn't make the most of that chance, then he's done.
Right.
But I mean, this is just awesome. I'm so glad.
That's how you phrase it. This is just awesome. Awesome.
Well, what else can you say about it? I'm looking forward to this home playoff game. I'm not sure if their game will be on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, it might be on Nickelodeon. So, I mean, we don't know. I don't think. Well, we haven't been out watching the TV or keeping up with anything. Of course, while we've been recording this video, but there's actually a real chance that it's on Nickelodeon. We don't know what game's going to be on there, which is absolutely weird. Don't know why there's a game on Nickelodeon, but if it's on there, and even if it's not on there, and whatever game is on there isn't at the same time as the Titans game, which it shouldn't be. I don't think they necessarily do that in the playoffs.
I think they're going to have triple headers.
Okay, yeah. I'm watching whatever NFL game is on Nickelodeon. I mean, you can't miss that. So,
But your final thoughts on this game?
I mean, listen, it was at times ugly, but lots of scoring, and they won. So what else can you ask for? I mean, 41-38.
I mean, you can ask for our defense to play a little bit better and it not be a nail biter. I mean, at one point it looked like my score prediction was about to come true.
Well,
I mean,
but they definitely outscored that a bunch. 79 points. Now, excuse the fact that I had to put that into a calculator, but 79 points. It's a fun game to watch.
It was.
It was a fun game to watch. Listen, so many good things happened. Henry passed 2,000. Titans won the AFC South, which, I'm sure you've got a hoodie ordered already.
Not yet. I need to get out there so I can get some merch ordered for this. Yeah. But then you have A.J. Brown, consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Yep. Took him a few more catches this time, but that's all right. But, yeah, just...
He's an upcoming PPR star. He's up in the receptions.
I mean, I don't think
I mean, is there anything else that you have, obviously, other than, plugging everything, is there anything else that you have to say?
Not really. I mean, I guess J.J. Watt's speech didn't...
No, it didn't.
Completely work.
It didn't.
I mean, the Texans, he may have gave a speech at halftime.
Yeah.
That riled the Texans up.
Maybe.
He may have went in there and smacked some people. I mean, but
what else can you expect from J.J. Watt?
But anyway, Titans win, AFC South Champions. Let's get ready for the Ravens in that home playoff game.
Be sure you're tuning in to the game previews. And, I mean, they're on the podcast. We'll tell you how to find all that stuff in just a second. But let's get ready to run the table in the playoffs. Let's get ready. Now, make sure
AFC South champs to AFC champs to Super Bowl champ.
That's the 3-step process, folks. That's the 3-step process. Now, make sure along that process you're keeping up with us on social media. The two that we're most active on, for one, Twitter, it's Titans_time. Make sure you give us that follow and that you're interacting, hitting the like button, hitting the retweets. Make sure you like our Facebook page. It's Titans Time. We're also on Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. And make sure that you check out our podcast on any podcast app. They'll all pop up on here, whatever the hell that was that you just did. But search up Titans Time on there, subscribe, rate, all that good stuff. And last but not least, make sure that you check out our website, titanstimepodcast.com.
Guys,
whatever you were doing.
I was popping up on the screen. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We didn't hit our goal of 200 subscribers before the end of December. But
you guys got to pick it up.
We have a new goal for this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, guys, we're trying to hit anywhere between 800 to 1,000 subscribers.
I like how you gave a range.
Anywhere from 800 to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2021.
Now, let's get on the other side of the range. Don't be afraid to go over.
But like I said, make sure you subscribe, turn on our post notifications, like the video, share the video with your family, friends, any Titans fans you know, and leave us some comments on the video. Let us know your thoughts on this game, your thoughts on the Titans being AFC South champions, Derrick Henry hitting 2,000, just all of that.
Yeah, put it in the comments. This has been Titans Time, and as always, Tighten up.